Hello friends, myself Joy Vakil from class 10. Today we will learn about structure of eye and its functions. At first, we will see the basic functions of the human eye. The human eye is the one of the most valuable and the sensitive sense organ in our body. It enables us to see the wonderful world and the colors around us. It works on the phenomena of the refraction of light through a natural convex lens made up of transparent living material. It is like a camera, enable us to see the things around us. Now we will talk about the part of the eye which is a cornea. Cornea, the front portion of the eye bulging outwards, is known as the cornea. Cornea is a transparent and thin spherical membrane. Light enters the eye through this membrane. It is white in color and transparent. It protects the inner part of the eye. Now our next part is iris. Beyond the cornea, there is a dark color muscular diaphragm known as the iris. The iris controls the size of the pupil. It is the colored part of the eye. Now we move on to the pupil. The small hole present in the middle of the iris is known as the pupil. Light enters the eye through the pupil. The pupil regulates and controls the amount of light entering into the eye. When the light is very bright, the iris contracts the pupil to allow less light to enter into the eye. However, in the dim light, the iris expands the pupil to allow more light to enter into the eye. Thus, the pupil opens completely through the relaxations of the iris. Now we move on to the lens. Behind the iris, there is an eye lens, which is a convex lens made up of transparent, soft, and flexible material like a jelly made up of proteins. The focal length and hence converging power of the eye lens is adjustable because its curvature can be changed or modified to some extent by the ciliary muscles. It focuses an inverted real image of an object on the retina. It focuses all the light at one point. Now our next part is ciliary muscles. They hold the eye lens in position and help in changing and modifying the curvature of the eye lens and hence the focal length of the eye lens. When the ciliary muscles are relaxed, the eye lens becomes thin, hence its focal length increases and the converging power decreases. When the ciliary muscles are tense, the eye lens becomes thick, hence its focal length decreases and the converging power increases. Now we move on to the retina. Behind the eye lens and at the back side of the eyeball, there is a screen called retina, on which an inverted real image of an object is formed. Retina is the inner layer of the eyeball. The retina is a delicate membrane covering the entire curved back surface of the eye. It has enormous number of light sensitive cells in the form of rods and cones. The rods like cells respond to the intensity of the light and cone like cells respond to the color of the light. These cells get activated upon illumination and generate electrical signals or the nerve impulses which are sent to the brain via optic nerves. The brain interprets the signals and finally processes the information so that we perceive objects as they are. Our next part is optic nerves. Nerves that connect eye to the brain is known as the optic nerves. Optic nerves transmits the visual information from retina to the brain. Now we move on to the aqueous humor and the vitreous humor. The space between the cornea and the eye lens is filled with a viscous and the transparent liquid called the aqueous humor. Aqueous humor helps the reflected light to be focused on the retina. Aqueous humor also maintains the intraocular pressure. Vitreous humor. The space between the eye lens and the retina contains transparent jelly-like material called the vitreous humor.